President. Well, for 2 days in a row now I've had to whip out my driver's licence and have a look at my date of birth because the opportunity that the Labor Party gave us yesterday and again today looks like a gift. Looks like a gift. I couldn't have written this a matter of public importance better myself if I wanted to tailor it round the performance of this, the Abbott coalition government. And let's just deal with them one at a time. Let's start with the broken promises. Now let's just do a little comparative here. Exactly the same words, there's no confusion. There will be no carbon tax under my government. Gillard. There will be no carbon tax under my government. Prime Minister Abbott. Now just go left or right, go whichever way you like. Only one of them was telling the truth. Only one of them kept their promise. The other one broke their promise, and that would be your mob, yours and the Labor Green coalition. So if we want to talk about broken promises, let's talk about the 70-odd occasions that your Treasurer indicated that we would create a surplus. And how many surpluses did we get under Labor? That would be none. So I was delighted when I seen the opportunity to talk about broken promises. But now let's have a look at the slogans. Let's go next because I've got a very limited period of time to get through this and so much to say. We've got the slogans. Our slogans, let's run down them. I'm going to be an infrastructure Prime Minister. That's a slogan. That was a pearl. And $50 billion, I think, Senator, has been the investment to date. Something like 7 times the Snowy River scheme. And in my home state, I see I've got some other senators from Queensland here, and no doubt when they make their contributions today, they'll acknowledge the Labor government's investment in my state, $6.7 billion in the Bruce Highway. So as far as I'm concerned, and of course our magnificent range crossing that takes me up to my lovely place of home on those few occasions I get there each month. So I'm going to go with that. That's a big green tick on a slogan. We have an infrastructure Prime Minister. We're going to arrest the decline in the budget. Now, that decline would be the structural deficits that are put in place, and we're going to continue, and the forward estimates under Labor, to take us to nearly $750 billion of deficits. $750 billion. We haven't heard the word trillion here. We're actually in that phase between billions and hundreds of billions. $750 billion, 0.7 of a trillion. We're going to stop the boats. That's what we said. We're going to stop the boats, and it's not about stopping the boats. It's protecting, and I love the words of the former Prime Minister John Howard about we will determine who comes to our nation and on what terms they arrive. That doesn't reflect on any other part of the policy other than to say we will have secure borders. Australia is blessed in the world of having some ability, a better ability than most, to be able to manage their borders. They're not particularly porous, and as a result we have, there's a slogan, we've stopped the boats. We said, another slogan, we'd restore the live export trade. Now think about that. Your mob brought the live cattle trade, the live animal export trade to a standstill, sending tens of thousands of families in my home state and across Northern Australia into bankruptcy, in effect. They've never recovered. Third and fourth generation farming families, grazing families who ended up going to the wall. And I'm pleased to see that the Leader of the Opposition in the Senate, obviously she's been watching me on the television and has come down to pick up a few points. No, I'll go steady so you can take some notes, Senator Wong. But you raised the issues of jobs, and we said we'd create more jobs, and indeed in just under 2 years we created 335,000 jobs. 335,000 more jobs, more people in work in this country than was the case when we took office. And indeed, with the free trade agreements, and I'll stay around agriculture a bit because it's one of my favourite subjects, with the free trade agreements, the FTAs in Japan and Korea, and of course the pending free trade agreement with China, which I predicted yesterday will go through this place when Labor finds a way to roll itself over and look like that they haven't capitulated. It will pass through this Senate, the affecting legislation. It's going to create tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands more jobs around this nation. They want to talk about jobs with the FTA, but of course it's about 2 bobs worth of jobs that they think are going to be taken under some anomaly in legislation introduced by the Labor Party during their term. But one of my all-time favourites is a reduction in the energy costs for business, for small businesses all across the nation. Some big industries, it got right into our households and it arrested to a certain extent the decline that was happening under Labor with manufacturing, and it's allowed people to get on with their businesses now, get them back into a profitable form where they employ more jobs. It's right of Labor to raise the topic of jobs. I think historically they were the party for jobs and job seekers and workers. I think it's fast evolving that the coalition has the reputation not just being of good economic managers, and I thank you for raising the opportunity to be able to discuss that, but we are the party for the workers. We are the ones who are creating jobs and giving them a future, growing wealth and getting their personal circumstances into shape. So I've got to say to you, it was a wonderful opportunity for you to raise these, and my final bit is about dysfunction and division. 3 words: Rudd, Gillard, Rudd. You want to talk about dysfunction and division? Rudd, Gillard, Rudd. 3 Prime Ministers in 20 minutes. The ink wasn't even dry on the letterheads around there, but fortunately, I can say, as a saving measure, you're able to whip out the old letterheads, the couple of thousand letterheads that were left. You're able to rip them out, put the Gillard ones in storage in case we had another turnaround. Of course, you did have one more attempt at that, and we all know that. You had more attempts at elections. You had more elections over there than they have at my bowls club. So I want to thank you finally. You're not even listening to me, ladies. I am genuine in my appreciation for you having picked the topics of broken promises, slogans, dysfunction and division. A perfect topic for us to talk about the failures of the Labor Party during their 6-year term.